Hello friends, hope you are doing well. So welcome back. In this topic, we are going to conduct a new series on AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate. So in this series, we are starting from very introduction part and the all the topics included with AWS SAA uh, level. And in today's video is all about the introduction. So let's start with the agenda. So today's agenda is we'll start with the introduction, then what is cloud computing, major players in the cloud computing, AWS market share in cloud computing, AWS history, fundamental, global infrastructure, and the exam details. So let's start with introduction. So as we all know, we are currently all the things managing from the cloud infrastructure. By using cloud computing, we can manage infrastructure as well as service or anything relevant to IT services. So the today's concept of infrastructure is cloud computing. So let's start with the cloud computing. What is cloud computing? So cloud computing basically a term. It is similar to the previous way, or we can say the vintage way of computing, where we have the data centers and the physical machines with having the computers as well as storage systems as well as the cooling systems and the power supply system. Now the whole concept of the data center is moved to cloud computing, where the key market player in the in the market who are handling the all the data centers and they providing the cloud services. So some of the key players are exist in the market with having the huge infrastructure without having the downtime, with providing the SLA of 99%, 99.9999 kind of percentage of SLAs. So cloud computing is defined as storing and accessing data and computing service over the internet. As we know that cloud computing is basically a service which is accessible over the internet. It doesn't store any data on your personal computer. For to access the cloud service, you simple need a personal computer with having internet connectivity, from where you can manage the infrastructure. If we compare with the vintage or the previous version of the computing model, where we need to have a persons in data centers who can manage the infrastructure. It is on-demand availability of computer services like servers and data storage, networking, and database. The biggest benefit of the cloud computing over the previous one is on demand. Whenever we require to have this infrastructure, we can create, and when it isn't required, we can remove or we can just stop it. So we have to pay as we use. The main purpose of the cloud computing is give access data center to many users. So initially, if we talk about the previous version of the data centers, where the person has to invest, has to be pay more on to just relocate the servers, and it is very headache way to manage the servers or the infrastructure. User can also access the data from the remote servers. We don't require to went physically to the data centers. We can access servers from anywhere. So examples of cloud computing services, the persons who provide the cloud computing is AWS, which is a product of Amazon. Azure is a product of Microsoft, and the GCP or Google Cloud, it is again the product of Google. So this is the simple cloud computing example. Now, major players in the cloud computing. Here we can see some of the key players who provide the cloud computing. Here we can see the VMware, IBM Cloud, Google Cloud Platform, Alibaba, Amazon Web Service, and Azure. These are the major player in the cloud computing. So this is the one chart on market share of 2022, where we can say see from 2017, 2018, 2019, 2021 to these are the market share of the cloud providers. We can see 34% of the market is managed from the Amazon. The remaining are the Microsoft, Azure, the Google. The current numbers would be different from what I explained over here. So in this scenario, we can see the maximum scenario or the market share is from Amazon. So let's start with Amazon. So AWS, Amazon Web Service. So basically this service is managed by Amazon, and this is some history point we can just discuss. The origin of the AWS developer tool can be treated as all the way back from the 2002 when an initial beta release named Amazon.com web service. So and that was offered a SOAP and XML interface for the Amazon product catalog one. So basically it was started with year on 2002. Next, it in 2006, AWS officially launched with two core service called EC2 and which is also named as ECC, Amazon Elastic Compute, which is the one of the service with the which start with very early stage of the Amazon, which allows users to host dispose their virtual cluster of the computer. It's similar to virtual machine. And the Amazon S3, Amazon Simple Storage Service. It's again the part of the storage where we can store the data, which provide online storage space. Amazon had almost 180,000 developers sign up in 2007. We can conclude that 180,000 developers are sign up with in 2007. Amazon.com retail web service transferred to AWS in 2000, and initially it was Amazon.com retail web service, and now it's called AWS in 2010. Therefore, Amazon.com is currently running on AWS. Since then, Amazon expanded its portfolio of services, regions, has attract millions of customers from the startup, enterprise, and public sector organ. So Amazon has declared initially very few services. After having the more services and the more portfolios, it expand the number of region, the number of services, and the number of portfolios. So this is the a brief graph for the, or we can say the brief introduction of the AWS 2002 AWS launch, cloud products, 12 hold first customer event, 2015 achieve a revenue of 4.6 billion US dollar. 2016 released Snowballs and Snowmobile, offerly 100 plus cloud services and comprises over 200 plus product and services. So now it's still going on. Now we can just move to AWS fundamentals. So what AWS is think on the AWS cloud computing. So AWS is a cloud computing platform that provides the various services that can be used to build, deploy application on the internet. Nowadays we can see many of the services like we can say the online streaming provider like Netflix, Hotstar, or Amazon provider. We can say like the banking providers like all the bank then we can say the online game provider. So it's a kind of application. So numerous application holds on the cloud platforms. AWS allow users to access this service based on the web-based interfaces. So Amazon provides a simply way the web portal to access this service, as well as command line tool or a software development kit. So Amazon provide a multiple way to access those services. AWS have more than 200 fully featured service. Now more than 200 fully featured services are introduced in a current way. User can choose wide range of services that cover the different aspect, like cloud computing as follow. See, the 200 plus new services are offered by the Amazon. So persons having, if the persons is like to have a different aspect on in term of cost, in term of application, in term of technology, so he or she can get number of or number of uh, services on its own way of use. So there are many options available for particular service, or we can say the infrastructure. Here we have the diagram with AWS services. We can see the application services having some numerous number of services, mobile services, enterprise application, administration and security. Here we can define the deployment and management, application service and federation services. So these are the services that define in multiple types. We can consider these sub-services and individual sub-services having own services. So these are the wide range of service catalog offered by the Amazon. Okay, now how Amazon is going to manage this services and how it works. So we do have the AWS global infrastructure. So Amazon has set up their data center in many different countries, or we can say the global geographical location. So Amazon operates from many geographical region, including 7 in North America. Each region consists multiple isolated location called availability zone. We can consider one location as a one region, and one region contains more than one availability zone, which we can consider a one availability zone is equals to one or more data centers, and those are the totally isolated location. It consists around more than in between 200 to 300 kilometers the distance between two availability zone. Each AZ contain one or two or more data centers that house servers, hardware, and that runs on the AWS services. So in this scenario, if we are having the targeted audience, if I'm going to deploy one application and my targeted audience is India, so I'm going to choose data center as in India. So they can use maximum way of application in terms of cost effective, the speed and compliance and redundancy all the way. User can also leverage the service called Amazon CloudFront Global Accelerator, distributed their content traffic in multiple. If for example, if my application is having targeted audience in more than 2 or 3 regions, then also Amazon provides such a service called CDN, then global acceleration, where we can just by implementing that thing we can have that speed similar to our the local region. Now next we can see this is the global infrastructure component, where we can see start with the this AWS region. AWS region is located on the whole over the world, where we can see the region consists multiple AZ availability zone, and each availability zone consists of multiple data centers, and all are fully isolated and many kilometers. As I mentioned earlier, it was about 200 to 300 kilometers. If we compare data center, then it's directly connected with the network, point to point connection. If we talk about the network, purpose built, highly available and low latency, fully redundant, 100 GB over Ethernet, metro fiber network. And point of presence, POP. Here we have the region, a separate geographical area. Availability zone consists at least two or more than that data centers, and each region consists more than 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 availability zones. Data centers, we can consist one or more discrete data center, typically 3, which having the redundant power, separate facilitated dedicated metro fiber. And these are the end user where we can use mobile or laptop or any or this the corporate users. Using CDN, we can use kind of like multimedia, or we can say the static image path with very frequent use by using the CDN. So this is the global infrastructure diagram. Next, here we can consist region. Region is consist of multiple availability zone, and multiple availability zone having the data centers, and those all availability zones are connected physically network with low latency resilient fiber connectivity. Here we can see. And the last topic of this video is AWS Solution Architect Associate C03 exam. Previously it was C02, but it was retired on 29th August 2022, and it is a new paper, or we can say new exam code for the Amazon Solution Architect Associate exam. If you want to appear for exam, these are the basic information. The exam level is associate level. Length is 130 minutes to complete the exam. Cost is around 150. Exam format 65 questions, either multiple choice or multiple response. And delivery method, either you can went to Pearson VUE testing center or online proctored exam. So you can just went to the local Pearson VUE exam center, or else you have online exam as a facility as well, where the proctor will monitor on your using webcam, and once your exam will completed, then they will submit your examination. So this is the basically exam format of the Solution Architect Associate. And this is the certificate badge where we can if you appear for exam and if you pass it, then you get this badge. Thank you. Hope you get all the introduction part of the Solution Architect Associate, and we are going to release this video very soon, and I'm going to